Let's get into it. Cries of foul play dogged the Shinsengumi after their infamous colonel, Keisuke Sanan, deserted them. He was immediately branded as a traitor. This part is very interesting. And I mean very interesting if you know the history behind the actual Shinsengumi. Aside from Heisuke, the rest of the Fury Corps had emptied from their rooms as well, adding fuel to the chaotic rumors catching flame within the Shinsengumi. Sanan-san, I had assumed, somehow convinced the rest of his men to accompany him, and off they went. Initial plans surfaced to organize a search party with the intent of dueling justice, and demanding that Sanan-san answer for his perceived crimes, but because the Shinsengumi had been putting the majority of their resources into leaving for Aizu, the plans were quickly abandoned. Nothing ultimately came of Sanan-san's disappearance, save for the internal smearing of his good name. I, of course, made my case against doing so. Sanan-san was incapable of the accusations flung at him. He was too logical, too loyal to be susceptible to the temptation of treason, so there had to be a reason. That rhymed. However, for as long as he was absent, there was no way for him to defend himself, and subsequently, my well-intentioned belief fell on deaf ears. In the end, the Shinsengumi permitted me to leave after I made a passionate case for my resignation. Whoa! I fled to my house in Edo in order to regroup myself. This is... holy... okay, wow, damn, I didn't expect that. This is coming from somewhere deep. Holy shit. Both Hichikata-san and Heisuke expressed their disapproval in my request, making my departure acrimonious to some degree. But I had to remain steadfast in Edo. A few lonely days passed in the blink of an eye. I guess finding someone who doesn't want to be found is more difficult than I anticipated. I spent each day wandering around Edo, hoping to escape the confines of Yukimura Clinic, which hosted its own set of complex, unresolved feelings for me. By dusk, my legs were cramped, and I became listless, realizing how futile searching for Sanan-san was turning out to be. How easily the bitter heart grows weary. It was better than doing nothing, I suppose. Maybe just a little bit longer today. I lost myself in the busy noise of the city, dragging my feet in rebellion as I fought the urge to collapse. There was nothing for me here in Edo. No father, no Sanan-san, not a single member of the Shinsengumi left. So much time had passed since I was last truly alone that I hadn't the faintest idea what to do with myself. It took everything inside of myself to swallow my pride and my fear, and I performed one more lap around Edo as the sun dipped into the horizon. Yet again, my search was fruitless, and no leads of Sanan-san came into view. I returned home empty-handed. I'm home.
Ah, おかえりなさい.
Yo, what? My self-deprecating declaration was met with a response which caused me to shriek. Yeah, I would too, because I'm supposed to be alone at home. Little had I known, 2 visitors came to my home. Familiar faces from my days in Kyo. It was none other than... Sen? Kimi Giku?
驚かせてしまって申し訳ありません。このような無作法な真似はどうかと私もいさめはしたのですが。
どうせなら驚かせた方が楽しいでしょ。千鶴ちゃんのびっくりした顔も見られたし。
Oh my god, Sen. You nearly made me jump out of my skin. That's besides the point. What are the two of you doing here? How long have you been in Edo for?
実は少々果たすべき用事がありまして、つい先日江戸入りしたばかりです。その際、新選組が会津に立ったことと、あなたが江戸に残ったことを聞き及びまして。
あなたが新選組から離れてると思わなかったから驚いたわ。何かあったの？危険だからついてくるなって言われた？
Oh, it's kind of a long story. I was unsure of what exactly compelled me to spill my heart out to Sanan Kimigiku on this evening. Perhaps it was because they had been privy to the circumstances surrounding my relationship with the Shinsengumi, or even the history of my lineage. But I told them everything, how my tenure with the Shinsengumi had ended, and for what cause. Neither Sen nor Kimigiku spoke a word until I was finished, listening intently with patient ears.
なるほどね。あの三男さんが羅刹隊を率いて行方知れずなんだ。話を聞く限り、どうもこの一件、私たちも無関係じゃないみたいね。
What do you mean?
私たちが江戸入りした理由は、新政府軍に羅刹を提供している雪村光道を追うためです。
娘であるあなたには悪いけど、光道は鬼の一族でありながら鬼のまがいものを生み出す輩。ヤセの一族を束ねる者として彼を放っておくわけにはいかないわ。
Does that mean you plan on killing him?
風間ならそうするでしょうね。でも同族ですもの。殺さずに何とかしたいと思ってる。
Yeah, Kazuma just straight up would kill him. Right.
そしてあなたもうすうす察しているとは思いますが、あえて言わせてください。今の話を聞く限り、三男さんは光道のところへ向かった可能性が高いです。
I know. Sanan was wholly devoted, if not utterly obsessed, with researching and improving the water of life. As a fury, there weren't plenty of places for him to hide outside of the Shinsengumi. The revelation was a bitter pill to swallow. Sen noticed my discomfort, shifting herself towards me.
もし彼が光道の下にいるとしたら、羅刹の研究に手を貸している可能性もある。その上で聞くわ。千鶴ちゃん、あなたは三男さんに会ってどうしたいの？
I bit my lip in hesitation, telling Sen, I want to speak with him. I want to speak with him. If anything, I felt she would appreciate my candor. I mean, I haven't had a chance to get his side of the story. I believe he deserves a chance to explain his departure, especially if he's working with my father. People often painted Sanan-san as an unfeeling cynic, but there was more to him than his cold exterior. He valued the members of the Shinsengumi with all of his heart, perhaps more than some of those who wore their hearts on their sleeve. In fact, he sacrificed being able to participate in civilian life. As a yawn appeared, God damn it. In fact, he sacrificed being able to participate in civilian life to continue serving as their colonel, albeit as a fury lingering in the shadows. It was a burden few others could ever bear. Who else could have done it? Was anyone ever really equipped to become a fury? Perhaps his dedication to his research was a testament to this question. Pardon me if I sound stubborn, but it just fails me to think Sanan would betray his closest allies. At the very least, we owe it to ourselves and to him to have his position clarified before we decide his fate.
そうですか。
Are we just going to go on a mission with the girls? Because I fucking love this. Kimikiko nodded, turning to face Sen, who returned the gesture with a kind smile. Together, we sat in silence. Words seemed to form on the tip of Sen's tongue, and not once, but twice, she seemed eager to speak. Finally, she blurted out,
つまり愛ってことね。
Oh my god. So not only is, in modern times, Sen obsessed with the fact of Chizuru eventually falling in love, also here, and I fucking love this. What? What makes you say that?
だってそうでしょ。離れても会いたくて仕方ない。それが愛じゃなかったら一体何？
Well, I'd been so preoccupied with finding him, perhaps I haven't devoted enough time to asking myself why. Sen made a compelling argument, one that I had yet to consider. I gently touched the center of my forehead. It was as if he marked me, and I fixated on the faint sensation of his lips tenderly kissing me that night. I found myself replaying the intimate encounter, and soon my heart was overflowing with warmth. Sen pursed her lips in contemplation, fiddling with her hands before addressing Kimikiko.
おきくいいわね。
姫様の思うがままに。
Kimikiko performed a poised bow, tilting her head upwards to share an assuring smile with me.
あなたは三男さんを探したい。私たちは行動の行方を突き止めたい。そして二人は一緒にいる可能性が高い。ということは、千鶴ちゃん、私たち協力できるわよね。
Yes! Give me more time with the girls! I mean, would that be okay with you two?
もちろんです。姫の立場からしても同族の女鬼を放っておけるはずがありませんから。
Hi, Seal! I will say this over and over again. One of these two should have been a root, and I'm so sad that neither are.
余計なことは言わないで、おきくん。こういう時はそういう建前はどうでもいいの。友達なんだから協力し合う。それで十分でしょ。
失礼しました。
I can't thank the two of you enough. I said the first thing that came to mind and quickly bowed out of reflex, hoping they would accept my humble gratitude. Gaining the assistance of two confident, battle-tested demons was a blessing for me, as I had submitted to the possibility of handling the undertaking alone. Every second a yawn is going to appear from out of my body. Every second the Imperial army marched forward. We scoured Edo for any rumblings of fury sightings. No one stone had been left unturned, and together the three of us probed every reported murder in the city. Kimikiko was adept at eavesdropping, asking enough passerby to begin gathering meaningful leads that led to the location of Father and the growing Fury Corps. Just as easily as we procured useful clues, however, there was no shortage of terrible news from the war's front lines, reaching us all the way from Aizu. Isami Kondo, illustrious chief of the Shinsengumi, was arrested and beheaded in the shameful display at the Itabashi execution grounds, much to my dismay. Dad! Ah, that Dad. I staggered upon hearing the news, clutching my racing heart with a clammy hand. Kondo-san, who had shown me nothing but kindness and hospitality during my time under his care, had been executed with neither clemency nor honor. It was a devastating blow for the Shinsengumi, whose morale was already teetering, even more so with the loss of their charismatic tailspin. I wondered where Sanan-san was throughout all of this. Did he have any chance or desire to mourn the loss? Well, we're gonna find out. Summer loomed in the near future, evidenced by the falling cherry blossoms cascading onto our source. The fallen cherry blossoms cascading onto our sore shoulders. God fucking damn it. Which were tired and slumped with grief. After days of investigation, Sen, Kimikiku, and I were gathered to deliberate on a fresh lead provided by Kimikiku's hawk-like diligence. Does this mean we're giving Kimikiku a hawk as a pet? I think it does.
上野寛永寺の周辺に戒厳令が敷かれているって。
There's Ueno again! I don't like the sound of that! Yo! No! No! I refuse! I...
はい。現在その周辺は数兆にわたって立ち入りが禁じられ、住民も退去させられています。
Is it because Lord Yoshinobu is currently resided at Kanai Temple? Kanai Temple? Upon his return to Edo, Lord Yoshinobu Tokugawa notoriously spent his penance following his disastrous showing in Kyo, holed up in Ueno's Kanai Temple. It hadn't surprised me in the slightest to consider that the temple was well fortified in a glorified attempt to save face. Sen hadn't shared in my amusement. She crossed her arms in frustration, shaking her head sternly.
それは不自然ね。先日、江戸城が新政府軍に明け渡された際に、慶喜公は水戸へ移ったはず。あの寺に残っているのは、警護を目的に結成された将棋隊だけだもの。
Panicking? Wait, does that mean there's some other reason for why the temple is initiating drastic measures? Do you think Shogi Company is gearing for battle?
はい。新政府軍の一部が夜のうちに上野へと移動した形跡があります。
Dead of night? Performing espionage missions was one thing, but doing so while the building was already under the Imperial Army's jurisdiction was curious behavior. There must have been another reason why. Two options sprung to mind immediately. Either the unit wasn't capable of moving during the day, or they intentionally obscured their movements. Maybe it's the Imperial Army's furies?
私の見立ても同じです。そして寛永寺を包囲する軍の配置もまるで外部からの侵入を阻むような布陣になっています。
If anything were to happen, we'd have no idea. I presume that father was leading the Fury Corps. So too, could we guess that Sanan-san was somewhere in his midst, though I hoped otherwise.
危険だからついてこないでって言っても無駄のようね。
Hell no! I want to join you. If somehow, defying all prayerless odds, we managed to infiltrate the temple and confront Sanan-san, our father, what words could I even comfort them with? My heart ached as I struggled to find them, but for now, all we could do was prepare to embark.